Hey my friends, it is time to get ready for part 2 of our paint series, so stay tuned. Hey and welcome to the Pink Tool Girl Studio. My name is Sandy and I will be your host each week for a show that details DIY, home improvement, and home decor projects where we can find out how to get the right tool for your project.
Like I said, when I came into your house and I saw the piano or I see the different things, I think, okay, what level of DIY, and should I be afraid to paint something or I'm afraid to ruin it? So what would you say to that? And are there certain kinds of paint that are friendlier, or is it just knowing what kind of paint that you can talk to us about?
Okay, so to address your first one, DIY project, I think painting is one of the easiest things to start with. Now, I wouldn't go and paint your entire room, all walls, because there's some edging and there's some taping off and there's some not higher skill, but maybe more time consuming. Details, yeah. And if you know me, I don't really like the details, so therefore I almost never paint a whole room without Andy being present. Because I can't stand to edge. I don't have enough patience. But for me, like this bench took about an hour. I did it in my kitchen. I put a drop cloth down. You want to always make sure that you protect whatever surfaces that you are doing. So if you're a beginner DIY, get yourself a good drop cloth and or cardboard. Either one work. And start with a small piece and start with a color that you like and start with, I don't know if I would start with a specific paint. Chalk paint's easy, but chalk paint's expensive if you're getting the Annie Sloan or Amy Howard. We're talking like $35, $40 for a quart.
Okay.
You know, so it's a more costly thing, but it also goes a long, long way. I can get 2 or 3 projects out of 1 quart.
And one thing you were saying too that might be nice at the beginning DIY or not wanting to wait forever, you're too excited or maybe you don't like the details.
Right.
You're saying the chalk dries like nothing.
Yes, and that's what got me. My first DIY, well, I did one thing. I was trying to age it at our old house when I think I had a newborn. And it turned out terrible. And I thought, ooh, maybe I'm not good for this. And I mean, it was terrible. So if you have a bad project, it was a nightstand, and they were my husband's, and they were old, and we were going to throw them out, and I thought, oh, I'll just paint them. They're still in my kids' rooms today. So even a mistake was like, I painted over top of the mistake, and okay, it wasn't bad. And I was trying a like 2 or 3 level paint project where you could like make it aged and stuff. Too advanced for my skill set at that time. So I would say start with a simple technique, a simple piece like a chair, and I'll have to show you a picture of this chair over here. Maybe something takes you 30 minutes and chalk paint dries right away. So as soon as you paint it, you might have to do a second coat. And sometimes I don't even do a second coat and wax it so it kind of sets. And then it's done. You can set it right back. You don't have to wait a day to use it or whatever. And that's what I like it. And I think that's why it's so versatile with your furniture. Because you want your furniture pretty much right away.
Yeah. So there's the chalk paint, which is kind of a staple. But then you said milk paint. Yeah, milk paint is. I first heard of it from Miss Mustard Seed. So it's a pigment color and a portion of water, and then you get. It looks like a frother. It's like a little frother thing, and you mix up the paint, and it's for that farmhouse chipping kind of look. And depending on how much water you use, you get a tone. Like, so almost like those burnout t-shirts kind of deal?
Yes.
Like, so it's not the solid, but all of a sudden it's kind of like, it shows, it's almost like you get the wear without wearing it?
Well, no, it's getting the wear of paint without knowing it. Like, if I was going to do this with milk paint, which I wouldn't, because it's chippy and that could get in your keys, I did it on a headboard. And there's a whole technique about it, and you would have to actually go and study it, and we're not going to cover it in this part. But if you put Vaseline or some type of oil underneath the paint, and then you paint over it, and then it kind of peels off as if you had that 1920s, 1930s. Okay. So it gives you a fresh paint like it is aged chipped. Okay. And there's all different ways of chipping. I was not very good at it. I didn't practice enough because I'm not a farm
house style girl.
House style kind of girl.
Houses like Paris and stuff like that is her deal.
Yes, like mine is more like the whole piece of thing is painted. So like people who love hardwood and stuff, like they're devastated when they come into my home. Sorry. Sorry. But that's my style, and you can find your style, and you can find the paint that works for your style, but that's just what works for me. But so that's what milk paint is. You stir it up. What I found was that I was inconsistent with the color because I would run out of color and you have to mix it again. And it frustrated me that I couldn't always get at the
specific shade or the specific thickness or whatever.
Because again, it's that measuring thing exactly the whole time, and I just kind of woo when I'm baking. So it's kind of like that person's like, it was a 4th cup water. You know, yet again, my husband should do milk paint, all engineers, things like that. It wasn't my style, but I really like the product.
Sure.
So I'll say that.
A couple last things then.
Yeah.
You can use wall paint and specialty paint on your furniture. It's not that that's off limits, just these are some fun paints that can be specifically used for furniture.
Sure.
Since the piano is a hot topic, we did want to point out 2 things with it. One, don't paint the inside because you could get it on your strings and that's a big deal. And then don't paint the keys. It's just, no. Don't paint the keys.
No.
If it's a baby grand like this, you can paint, like the bottom underside of this is painted, but nothing else inside of it. I can see the brown. Don't paint it.
To the edge.
But all that to say, when I was asking Sandy, should I be fearful? And I'm...
Wait, can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
When she said don't paint the keys, if you're going to use them, don't paint them. But if your keys, and this is just a maybe, if my ivory is on my keys, if your ivory is off or your plastic is off, underneath of that is sometimes a wooden key, I wouldn't have a problem painting that.
Okay.
You know, like it might be fun to have all different colors. You know, like you could have like
that would be really
an
neat.
Ombre going up on your key or something. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Next thing I know, Sandy's going to have wooden keys in this house. But seriously, just make sure they are wooden, and that would be a really neat idea.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not all of us, myself included, are not as adventurous as you are with paint. But one thing that really gives me confidence is that I don't have to be fearful because just repaint it. Sand it, repaint it. Anyone can sand. Don't sand the crap out of it, but just...
And sometimes you don't even need to resand, or you don't need to sand it. It just depends on chalk paint. If I were going to do this again, I'd just paint right over this. So the whole sanding thing would depend on what kind of paint you were going to put on it. And, you know, that would be a whole nother topic.
Yeah. But don't throw it out yet. Paint it. See if it can go in your room, or you're not sure it goes in the room anymore. Paint it and put it in another one.
And send us a picture. If you paint something using some of our ideas, we want to see it. We want to see your projects. If you mess up, send the picture too, because I love the before, after, whoops, didn't turn, you know, but sometimes the biggest mistakes turn out the best.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
Even if it makes a mistake, even if you're thinking, no, sometimes in one of the other things like the specialty paint, that it can make it, I'll tell you about it in specialty paint, about a mistake that I thought, oh, this was bad, and it ended up being one of our favorite places in the house. So there you go. Stay tuned, and we're coming back to you. The next session is
specialty
paint. So we'll see you soon.
Bye.